Hallo Deutschlerner! In my last video about question words, I explained question words that are used to ask about people. In this video, I'll explain which question words you can use when you aren't asking about people. There are only two question words on my list for today, was and welche, but there are a lot of little things that you should know in order to use these question words properly. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The English question word what is usually best translated with the German question word was. There are two ways to use the question word was. Let's start with some examples of how to use it as the subject of the sentence. Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? What is your favorite film? Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? Was fällt vom Himmel? What is falling from the sky? Was fällt vom Himmel? Was fällt vom Himmel? In these two examples, was is the subject of the sentence. We can tell this by answering the questions. Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? Lucky number 11 ist mein Lieblingsfilm. What is your favorite film? Lucky number 11 is my favorite film. Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? Lucky number 11 ist mein Lieblingsfilm. Was ist dein Lieblingsfilm? Lucky number 11 ist mein Lieblingsfilm. Was fällt vom Himmel? Der Regen fällt vom Himmel. What is falling from the sky? Rain is falling from the sky. Was fällt vom Himmel? Der Regen fällt vom Himmel. Was fällt vom Himmel? Der Regen fällt vom Himmel. Was can also be used as the direct object in the sentence, meaning something that is being acted upon. For example, was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? What would we like to eat for breakfast? Was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? Was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? Was hast du gestern gemacht? What did you do yesterday? Was hast du gestern gemacht? Was hast du gestern gemacht? In these two questions, the word was represents the direct object of the sentence. If we answer those questions, we need the accusative case. Was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? Wir möchten Eier und Obst essen. What would we like to eat for breakfast? We would like to eat eggs and fruit. Was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? Wir möchten Eier und Obst essen. Was möchten wir zum Frühstück essen? Wir möchten Eier und Obst essen. Was hast du gestern gemacht? Ich habe Baseball gespielt. What did you do yesterday? I played baseball. Was hast du gestern gemacht? Ich habe Baseball gespielt. Was hast du gestern gemacht? Ich habe Baseball gespielt. When I talked about the accusative question word wen, I mentioned that you can use it with accusative prepositions. This is not usually the case for was, as instead you would use a wo compound. You won't see für was very often. Instead, often people will say wofür. I'll cover those wo compounds in an upcoming video, but the short version is that you can add wo in front of whatever the preposition is that you are using to create a wo compound that is essentially the preposition plus what, for what, around what, through what, etc. What you can do, however, is use the combination of was für. When used in this order, you aren't saying for what, but rather what kind of. For example, was für Musik hörst du gern? What kind of music do you like to listen to? Was für Musik hörst du gern? Was für Musik hörst du gern? Was für Bücher hat er gelesen? What kinds of books has he read? Was für Bücher hat er gelesen? Was für Bücher hat er gelesen? Was für ein Geschenk hat sie bekommen? What kind of a gift did she get? Was für ein Geschenk hat sie bekommen? Was für ein Geschenk hat sie bekommen? Was für einen Wein trinken wir heute Abend? What kind of a wine are we drinking this evening? Was für einen Wein trinken wir heute Abend? Was für einen Wein trinken wir heute Abend? Was für eine Jacke trägt man bei 12 Grad? What kind of a jacket does one wear at 12 degrees? Was für eine Jacke trägt man bei 12 Grad? Was für eine Jacke trägt man bei 12 Grad? Make sure that when you use was für, you choose the correct grammatical ending for ein. Contrary to popular belief, the accusative case is not always needed after the combination of was für. That's because these two words work together to act as one question word in the sentence. In my example, was für einen Wein trinken wir heute Abend, I chose the accusative case not because of the preposition für, but because Wein is the direct object of the sentence. It is the thing being drunk. English grammar nerd side note, yes, drunk is the proper form of the verb drink in that last sentence. The forms of drink are drink, drank, have drunk. When used in the passive voice, as I just did, you have to use the present perfect form, drunk. It's also an important distinction that the wine is being drunk and not getting drunk. If that were the case, the wine has become sentient and is becoming drunk on its own alcohol, which sounds a lot like a plot for a bad film starring Seth Rogen. Here are some more examples using was für, followed by a variety of cases that show it isn't always followed by the accusative case. Was für ein Tag ist heute? What kind of a day is today? Was für ein Tag ist heute? Was für ein Tag ist heute? Was für einen Tag hast du heute gehabt? What kind of a day have you had today? Was für einen Tag hast du heute gehabt? Was für einen Tag hast du heute gehabt? Was für einem Mann hast du geholfen? What kind of a man did you help? Was für einem Mann hast du geholfen? Was für einem Mann hast du geholfen? In the first example, was für ein Tag ist heute uses the nominative case as Tag is the subject of the sentence. In the second example, it uses the accusative case as Tag is the direct object of the sentence. It is the thing being had by you. In the last example, I use the dative case as the man is the object of the dative verb helfen. An easier way to think about this is to remove was für from the sentence entirely. This leaves you with the base sentence and makes the case more clear. Ein Tag ist heute. A day is today. Ein Tag ist heute. Ein Tag ist heute. Einen Tag hast du gehabt. You have had a day. Einen Tag hast du gehabt. Einen Tag hast du gehabt. Einem Mann hast du geholfen. You helped a man. Einem Mann hast du geholfen. Einem Mann hast du geholfen. Another way to use was für is in an exclamation, such as, was für einen großen Hund hast du? What a big dog you have. Was für einen großen Hund hast du? Was für einen großen Hund hast du? Was für ein schöner Tag. What a beautiful day. Was für ein schöner Tag. Was für ein schöner Tag. Was für ein süßes Kind. What a sweet child. Was für ein süßes Kind. Was für ein süßes Kind. Sometimes German learners will mix up was für ein and welcher. Welche is the German equivalent of which. It's used to inquire about specific items from a group of items, while was für ein is asking for a specific type of thing within a group. Here are a few examples that highlight the difference. Welcher Tag ist heute? Heute ist Dienstag. Which day is today? Today is Tuesday. Welcher Tag ist heute? Heute ist Dienstag. Welcher Tag ist heute? Heute ist Dienstag. Was für ein Tag ist heute? Heute ist ein schöner Tag. What kind of a day is today? Today is a beautiful day. Was für ein Tag ist heute? Heute ist ein schöner Tag. Was für ein Tag ist heute? Heute ist ein schöner Tag. Welcher Zug fährt nach München? Dieser Zug fährt nach München. Which train is traveling to Munich? This train is traveling to Munich. Welcher Zug fährt nach München? Dieser Zug fährt nach München. Welcher Zug fährt nach München? Dieser Zug fährt nach München. Was für ein Zug fährt nach München? Der Zug nach München ist ein ICE-Zug. What kind of a train is traveling to Munich? The train to Munich is an ICE train. Was für ein Zug fährt nach München? Der Zug nach München ist ein ICE-Zug. Was für ein Zug fährt nach München? Der Zug nach München ist ein ICE-Zug. Welche doesn't always have to end with an R. These examples end with R because they are both masculine nouns in the nominative case. Let's take a look at some other examples to see a variety of endings used. Welche Farbe hat das Auto? Which color does the car have? Welche Farbe hat das Auto? Welche Farbe hat das Auto? Welches Buch hast du gelesen? Which book did you read? Welches Buch hast du gelesen? Welches Buch hast du gelesen? Zu welchem Fußballverein gehörst du? To which soccer team do you belong? Zu welchem Fußballverein gehörst du? Zu welchem Fußballverein gehörst du? The first example ends with E because the noun that follows is feminine and accusative. Welches Buch has an S at the end to show that it's neuter and accusative. The last example used the dative case after the dative preposition zu, which is why the masculine noun Fußballverein required welchem in front of it. Welche is in a category of words known as additional der words in some textbooks. This basically means that the last letter has to match the gender and case of the noun that follows it. Let's take a look at one more example so I can draw attention to another common problem for native English speakers. Aus welchem Grund sagst du das? For what reason do you say that? Aus welchem Grund sagst du das? Aus welchem Grund sagst du das? In this example, I translated aus welchem Grund as for what reason. All of the other examples were translated with the English word which. So, which translation is correct? Does this question word mean which or what? Well, this is another example of English native speakers not knowing their own language. My students wouldn't translate almost any sentences in this entire video with which. They seem to ignore which entirely. They exclusively use what. This phenomenon has become more and more common in the past few years, and I can't really put my finger on exactly why this happens. Just be forewarned that if you are a native English speaker, you might have trouble figuring out when to use welche if you can't figure out when to use which in English. The easiest solution to the problem is that the word was cannot be followed up by a noun unless it also uses für, as my other examples. The only way to say what followed by a noun in German is to use welcher. What movie did you watch? Welchen Film hast du gesehen? Welchen Film hast du gesehen? Welchen Film hast du gesehen? What color is your car? Welche Farbe hat dein Auto? Welche Farbe hat dein Auto? Welche Farbe hat dein Auto? What size shoe do you wear? Welche Größe von Schuhen trägst du? Welche Größe von Schuhen trägst du? Welche Größe von Schuhen trägst du? What material is this shirt made of? Aus welchem Material ist dieses Hemd gemacht? Aus welchem Material ist dieses Hemd gemacht? Aus welchem Material ist dieses Hemd gemacht? Now it's your turn. Write 2 example questions using was and 2 using welche in the comments down below. Show me you know what's what and which is which. If you really want to take your German skills to the next level, you can practice everything that I teach in every video that I upload by becoming a member of my Deutschlerner club. You get access to extra materials to go with each lesson, including worksheets, answer keys, MP3 versions of the lessons, and more. Check it out via the link in the description. Das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!